Hello, welcome. I just started rolling before I was even ready because sometimes you gotta go before you're ready. Let's see. Do we like this? This door handle bothers me. I'm still figuring out the setup because, hi, I'm new here. Welcome and thank you for having me in whatever space you find me in. I love reading tarot. I think the tarot is like this 78-page story that we get to tear out the pages and rearrange them. And when we rearrange them, it gives us a new context. It maybe lets us be a little kinder to ourselves. And it's all at the service of hopefully reducing suffering in the world, or at least reducing suffering for you. So grab your tea, settle in, and we'll get started. Hello everyone, welcome to your Gemini season reading. The pile one, first pile we've got some malachite on there, very beautiful cut. This just jumped out at me at I was at Coven in Cleveland, Ohio. If you're near there, check out that store. It's such a beautiful vibe, very like lovely curated space. But I just love this stone. Pile two, we've got the Botswana agate. It's, it reminds me of like our brains, I think, in a really beautiful way. And then pile three, we've got sunstone, and I discovered these are sensitive to the sun, poetically enough. But there's still some like beautiful glimmers in there. So take a moment, just get quiet with yourself and meditate on which one is calling to you. Try to connect with spirit or God or the universe, whatever you feel comforted by. And I will see you in your reading. Welcome, pile one. If you chose the malachite, the most beautiful little green babe, welcome to me trying to focus. It's never gonna go well. The anchor card I got for you, the Eight of Swords reversed. What this can indicate is that like we are sort of in the mental trappings of our thoughts. Maybe that's a redundant phrase. Let's get a few cards going for you. Settle in. Oh. Okay. I'm hearing like you wish something would have gone different maybe. And it's really causing you a lot of doubt, a lot of mental strife. It sounds like you keep revisiting it, maybe. Oh baby cakes, you didn't fuck up that bad. I guarantee it. I guarantee that you did not fuck up that badly. We so often. Let's see. Oh honey, I just went to check the back of the deck. Okay. Oh, I can't believe how many swords are here. Okay. I want you to take a deep breath with me, okay? So just inhale, and exhale. At the bottom of the exhale, put your hand over your chest, your other hand over your stomach, and press and inhale. Exhale. One more. Anything that comes up, just let it come up. You don't have to attach to it. Just name the feeling. Let it pass if it wants to. You are really working yourself up here, it feels like. I think maybe there's a sense of downplaying it too, a little bit. Because the Three of Swords, the back of the deck often, I believe, is what energy is trying to get to you. And the Three of Swords asks us to soften into the pain, which is like, who wants to do that? It hurts. I'd rather not. But the pain is so real, and you are dishonoring yourself to not acknowledge that. And if we harden around the pain, we harden around every other good thing that wants to get to us in our life. And so the Three of Swords, like, there's nobody on this earth who won't experience the Three of Swords. There's nobody escapes the human experience. And actually softening into the pain broadens your compassion. It broadens your scope of like the human experience and of what others might be going through at any time. Like it's here to affirm that you've dealt with something very painful, and to say, hey, it's okay. It's going to be okay. You can allow yourself to be hurt. So let that sink in. And I think it can guide us through the rest of this reading, because the Six of Swords also asks that, like, whatever we consider a problem is part of our life and part of our growth. And when trees are cut open and we can see the rings, anything that like was a disease or other afflictions that affect trees, the tree grows around it, and then it keeps growing, because the tree can't like pull it out and just like cast it out, like, no, I'm done with that, that's not me. Certainly there are instances where like there are things that are ours to deal with, and then there's things that people project onto us. That's not what I'm talking about. But I am talking about, like, traditionally I have a chart here of the Rider-Smith way. Traditionally it's actually right here. Do you care to zoom in? And this Six of Swords, the swords are in the bottom of the boat. So like theoretically, or symbolically, I should say, if you pull the swords out, your boat's gonna sink. What a waste of energy that would be. You spend all this energy trying to get it to be done, and it actually will never work. So there's no getting it done. There's no getting done with like the pain. What you can do though, say, hey, like, this thing really hurt, and I can endure it, and actually, like, what could this pain teach me? Which, like, that's so annoying, right? What can this pain teach me? Well, I know I'm hurt. But if when things arise, if we can see it as a teacher, it can be really powerful and really transformative. Temperance in reverse. Gosh, I was just thinking about this card the other day, and how it's so ephemeral. It's this marriage of the things that hurt you, anxiety, everything in your past that has brought you to where you are. And it's like the future. It's what you want to be. It's what you want to become. And being able to look at that and say, okay, how do I want to proceed now that I've awakened to like my soul's directives and my heart's desires? Like, what is my new true north now that I've collected and pieced together and like dealt with and hurt and loved and lost, and like, how do I want to go forward? What do I want my life to be? How do I want to be to other people? This is like, because through the journey of the major arcana, we're bumping right up against the end of the journey. There is no end, there is no arrival, right? We're fast approaching like a denouement of like many in our lives, right? And so here, I'll show it to you right side up. So, and like the thing about this card, it's like we're clearly like
in another world,
sort of. And it's like, it is that ephemeral, fleeting understanding of like, can I open myself up to everything that's happened, and how do I want to go on? And because like, be honest with yourself, okay? The swords really deal with our mind. Like, it's the thought. It's like, I just think of like air, tornado brain. Trying to control your thoughts is like trying to control the wind. So whatever's going on in your sweet little head, do an honest interrogation with yourself. Honest interrogation with yourself about what is true and what is a story you've told yourself. In the Five of Swords, let's see if it'll focus. It appears that these two figures have lost their swords in a fight with this person. And this person now has 3, there's 2 on the ground, 5 swords. I see you really focused on this thing, this event that made you feel like it's like the loss, oh, I will never get that back. I will never have that back. I will never have the chance to do that again. And maybe that's true, or maybe it's not. Because the Nine of Swords reversed here is like, can we open our eyes a little bit and really ask what we're seeing honestly? And like, I wish I could just like tap your brain and, you know, what's the word? Obfuscate? That's the word coming to me? Like, there's so much like fog I'm feeling, and it's like, I wish I could clear it out and say, hey, like, really ask yourself what's true here, because like the 8 and the 9, we're going 8, 9, 5, 6 here in the Swords land. And so when we don't escape the 8 of Swords, it's like it all tightens in the 9 of Swords, and it's like, what? I don't know. What is true? And check in with yourself, check in with others. Like, you can actually ask this person, you know, you can ask this person or ask yourself, ask somebody that was there, like, hey, do you think this is okay? Like, reach out to that person. Hey, are we okay? I'm feeling like X, Y, and Z. That might apply to some of you and not all of you. You know, it's a general reading. Take what works and leave the rest. Yeah, I need you to ground. I need you to do some grounding. Everything I'm feeling is like from here up, and it's like trying to keep a ball in the air, but there's like, it's like, it's all full of hot air, and it's not full of like substance. It's like empty. It's just like these perpetuating thoughts like swirling around. And like, you aren't landing long enough to have an honest interrogation with yourself. Yeah, we've got, okay, let's see. Yes, okay. I'm gonna shuffle this a little more because I really want to know, you know, what the invitation is for you to get grounded. Whoa, Spirit liked that question. A lot of cards tried to come out. Okay, so you've got to wait a little more, is what I'm here to say. Let me think. There's no arrival. I feel compelled to tell you that. The Queen of Wands and the Ace of Wands showed up. And, you know, aces don't require us to like double down and do it. The ace is like the confirmation that something is within us, something wants to be awakened. And it's really beautiful because like there's nothing you have to do. And I wonder, like, are you, you know, are you being good to yourself, Pile One? Like, are you being kind to yourself? Are you honoring what you want to do when you want to do it? There's like this really like it's just like, it's so expansive, but there's not substance in there. And like, what is it that makes you feel nourished? Like, I want you to get in there and be like, until your soil, you know what I mean? There's like one earth card, two earth cards here, pentacles. But it's like a lot of swords, and then like some wands are coming up. So it's like this, there's like a, air fuels fire, right? So it's like this, like, and these are reversed. So like, you might be trying to like double down, trying to like, okay, I've got this wand. And then like Queen of Wands, when it's reversed, we're kind of like, okay, Queen of Wands is the witch of the tarot, right? She's like, she like operates at the highest levels of her own freakiness for herself, because then that foundation is there for when we want to take it out and serve our community with our soul. Not in like an empty, like, I'm showing up for my community, but we're like showing up authentically as ourselves, and like showing up with energy. Like, energy really matters when we show up in spaces. And if we like make ourselves a martyr for just showing up when we don't want to, when we're tired, that's not sustainable, and it's not good for anybody. It's not good for you, and it's not good for the people you show up for. So developing our authenticity and our freakiness and our vibe and what we love, like, reversed, it's like, that's for somebody else, but I'm not allowed to do that. Yes, you are. You're allowed to do that, and it's going to inform your whole life in a beautiful way. And so what makes you feel like you? It's okay if it goes slow. It's okay if it doesn't look how other people want it to look, because I'm talking about freakiness, I'm talking about vibes, but maybe that to you is moving slower. Maybe to you that is moving slower. There's this quickness, there's this air here, but Knight of Pentacles, it's, I'm really trying to hit you with like a mic drop, and then I show this like pumpkin boy on a turkey. But like, Knight of Pentacles is slow work. It's slow work, and that's not bad. Things take time. I'm thinking of that tree again, and like, how many years does it take for the rings to grow around the disease? Do you know, like, are you an arborist? If you know how trees grow around the disease, please put it in the comments, because I think Pile One and I would like to know. This guy goes slow. Gal, non-binary person. This person goes slow. They go slow. They're not in a rush to get there. They understand that things take time, and that's okay. And you might feel like, oh my God, I fucked up because the good thing isn't here yet. We've got another five of Pentacles. Okay, first of all, as a sidebar, sorry to do this in your pile, Pentacles are not about money. Pentacles are not about money. I will disrupt every thought in your head that thinks Pentacles is about money. It's not about money. We are not talking about a human invention here.
We're talking about your soul.
Pentacles are not about money. This is not about overspending or being broke. So just take that little piece of guilt that just landed on you and fling it over there. Pentacles are not about money. This is about the feeling of like, oh, the good thing isn't here yet. The good thing isn't here yet. I fucked up. What did I do? It's not here yet, so I must be bad. No, it's maybe there's something not quite here yet that you expected or needed. Maybe there really is a resource crisis. What do you have? What is here? What do you have right now? I guarantee it's something. This Moon card and this Seven of Wands card coming up. Yeah, I think you're really freaking out a little bit. And I don't say that with a judgment. I just am feeling like, and it's like a quiet, who says that about quiet desperation? If you know, please comment. It's such a quiet, you're really trying to still yourself. And it's like you've taken this expansive anxiety bubble and like put it into like a tiny little tight ball, like right here. Here's the thing. Okay, first of all, Seven of Wands. It's a card of like hypervigilance. What I'm here to say is sometimes that is valid. Like, anecdotally, there was a time in my life it was coming up a lot, and it was because I really was in a situation that I needed to get myself out of. I think readers will tend to say like, no, like your hypervigilance is like not needed here, and maybe that's the case, but it's reversed. If you can't quite understand what your intuition is saying, ask someone around you. That is what I did. And like all voices that I asked were like, no, that's a bad situation and you need to get out. Yours might be, oh, I think that X, Y, and Z, you're okay. You're allowed to ask a trusted, somebody you trust, right? We can't, it's hard. We know our friends that are more careful with us, right? Someone can help you parse through, perhaps, if they have the space. Hey, do you have the space right now? I really need your help with something. Because like you are freaking out, I think, a little bit in like in the moon card, and it's because it's dark and we're like, is the sun ever gonna come up
Ever again?
And the answer is it always does. The sun always comes up, right? Know that the longer you sit in the moon and the less you freak out, your eyes adjust and you can begin to make things out, and you can say, oh, that's not something creeping through the bushes to get me. That's a stream trickling that way. And oh, that wasn't someone walking up behind me. It was the wind rustling the bushes. And we can begin to like make our way. And the sun does come up again. There's a bug. There's just one more card here to affirm that there is no arrival, and that's the Eight of Pentacles. And at the Eight of Pentacles, we can sort of be like, are you kidding me? Like I'm still
doing this?
And it's when we trick ourselves into thinking like we should be somewhere else. It's all in divine timing. It's all in perfect timing. I'm gonna get you one more card, but it's gonna be from this self-love oracle. Okay, this is recommending spend time alone. Perhaps part of what is getting your brain so activated is you're not taking time for yourself. Are you around people all the time, and perhaps you're a person who needs time alone to recharge? Like if I were to tell you, how would it feel to spend an hour completely alone just reading? If that sounds like, oh, yes, I would love that. Spend some time alone. Maybe that's not for you though. Maybe you get even more anxious when you're alone. So please use your discernment. That message might not be for you. Bottom of the deck energy. It says, we are only treated as badly as we allow ourselves to be. Pay attention to your physical and emotional health and reduce your toxic burdens. Not everybody is in a position to get away from the things that are to being treated badly. You know, I think that kind of puts an unfair burden on the person being burdened, right? But there are certainly boundaries we can make if it's safe to do that. And ask yourself if it's safe to do that. Will this make me feel safer? And, you know, again, the Seven of Wands, like, pay attention to your response if someone is making you feel this like massive swords, anxiety, brain, tornado, storm. Like, do things get activated when certain people say certain things? There is a way to articulate what you need. Hey, when you say this to me, it kind of makes me feel anxious because I'm a person who needs to turn off that part of my brain. It's taking this mental energy, because the swords also represent words, and it's taking this mental energy and not allowing it to just like run amok in there. You can bring it down, maybe write it out, like what can I control and what can I articulate then? You know what I mean? I hope this was helpful. I really do. Like I said, It's a general reading. Maybe there were some messages for you, maybe there weren't. If you liked this, please press like and subscribe if you feel called to. But mostly I want to be of service, and I just am sending you so much love. And I just want to affirm to you that you're allowed to ask for what you need and what you want. Okay? Until next time, and please take care of yourself. Hello, pile 2. Welcome to your reading. Settle in, get your tea. I'm like already mostly through mine. If you are here, you chose Botswana Agate. Your anchor card is the Empress reversed. This can bring up a lot of stuff about receiving. It's not necessarily about like fertility or like human birth. It can be about creative, generative projects.
I picture a balloon with air needing to be let out
to allow more air to go in. So we have to clear, you know what I mean? Like recharge, reset to allow more to come in. And like recharging is receiving. That's not always available to some folks. And maybe it's not about having a whole day to yourself, but accepting help when it's offered, if it's offered. And if no one's offering help, what is it to offer it to yourself? What is it to go to bed early, if that's available? What is it to just like massage your neck? It's like, it's hard. We have a lot of stuff come up.
I don't deserve that.
I'm
a fraud.
I'm surely I need to be punished instead of rewarded or treated well. And that's just kind of the society we've grown up in. And I think a beautiful way we can progress forward is to say, yes, thank you. I do need that help. Thank you. So let's go ahead and dive in. This is a general reading, but I don't want anyone to feel generalized.
If that makes sense.
Feeling called to just start pulling. Okay. So I see you working through this, like you're allowed to celebrate yourself. You're allowed to celebrate yourself. I'm suddenly feeling, I'm suddenly feeling like very choked up. Oh, what is that about? Can you open that up a little bit? I think you're like really proud of yourself. Don't run away from yourself, okay? Don't be running off. Like, I see this 9 of Cups here and this 2 of Cups here, okay? So like, let's look at the 9 of Cups first. Maybe you're like, and there's a 9 of Pentacles here too. So maybe you're feeling a like material abundance around you of like, oh, I kind of love the life I've built. And maybe it's also emotional. You're like, I've made so much progress in the way that I think and feel about myself, like maybe it's like you have worked through this blockage. Maybe you're like, oh no, I've made it, which like, not made it, but it's like I've dealt with that. I've dealt with my feelings around receiving. That's beautiful. And maybe you're still working through it, but I see you like seeing yourself honestly and being like proud of yourself. Because like our you know, we make a resume of like, here I am on paper. And don't you kind of wish we could make like a internal map resume of like, hey, I used to think and feel and act this way about and towards myself, and now I'm like in a much different place and I'm very proud of myself. I've worked on a lot of my thought patterns and it's brought me a lot of comfort and ease. Because like this Ace of Cups in reversed, you know, the first cup we give, we have to give it to ourselves. And that's just kind of like, that's in us. Like, we deserve that. We're allowed to do that. I don't know how much you can hear of kitchen sounds. My apologies. Hopefully it's not too distracting. I think for this pile, some of you have worked through this to arrive at this like very loving, accepting space of yourself, and some of you like are in the midst of it. I think it's kind of split in this pile. It is about like no longer trying to separate yourself from the parts of yourself that you're like, oh, if I just like could be a little different in this way, and instead like seeing that and meeting that, you know, there's like there are so many beautiful like articulations of like our inner demons, right? And like you have to let them in. You have to let them in, because like the more you fight them, the louder they get to be heard. You have to let them in, hear what they have to say about you perhaps, or about other people. Mostly though, the Two of Cups, it's like whatever those voices and demons are saying about you, of like, oh, well, like this is actually a problem. And it's like, well, I will offer that cup to myself, and I will offer it to this part of you, because like I love and accept myself in all that I am, for all that I am, you know? It's like, it's this Empress, like really feeling yourself. And also we've got the Queen of Wands coming up in reverse, and like this came up for pile 1 as well, so maybe there's some messages in there too for those of you that are still kind of like working through this like this journey. Because like the Queen of Wands is like so into her own vibe, so into her
freakiness, like,
and maybe you don't necessarily feel like freaky, but maybe there's things where you're like, oh, I have to hide that part of myself. I have to keep that close to my vest. And like, actually, what if that's like one of the most like amazing qualities about you, that you kind of like dim your own light around? You try to like turn down the flame of whatever you've got cooking, but like the thing is, it's like literally like, come on. Hair toss, like I'm gonna just show up fully as I am, and like your feelings about it are about you, they're not about me. And like allow yourself to get out of that mental trapping of like, they're gonna hate me, nobody can accept me for how I show up if I want to. But again, it's like the Empress, like like expand. It's the Empress's expansion of like, whew, actually like I can be fully present, fully myself, fully experience this human life, and take off this blindfold, you know. Like this figure is so tightly bound, right? But how tight is this cage? Walk out of it, walk away, say, hey, I don't actually have to think that way anymore, because like I won't turn down the light. And truly, like, take a look at that. Justice isn't like, it's not necessarily about like legal battles. Maybe that's what you are in the midst of, but here I don't get that vibe here. Here I think it's about like honest sight. Like justice is, think of like a trial. Everything that happens in a trial is reviewing evidence, right? And we're you know, Brené Brown always says like we're trying to collect evidence against ourselves, but don't look for that evidence, because you will always find it. You will find the thing to nitpick about yourself, and like Like, take an honest look. And maybe there are things where you're like, gosh, it would be nice if maybe you aren't feeling the Sign of Pentacles in a material way. And it's like, gosh, it would be nice if I had this or was this. But it is this. And like, isn't that quite a lot? Isn't that quite a lot? Aren't you quite a lot? And are you showing up as that in the world? Because you're allowed to. Again, it's Knight of Wands. Maybe you are feeling this. You're just about to feel this, because when it's reversed, we're like, oh, that's for them, that's not for me. But you have sort of flirted with this idea of like showing, these were both reversed. You have flirted with this idea of like, wow, maybe I didn't like be my full self there, and like turn up the heat a little bit. What's gonna happen? You know, be kind. Honesty without compassion is brutality, you know? I'm not talking about like kicking open a door and like
fuck everybody.
I'm just talking about like, you know, allowing. Because the back of the deck is Strength reversed. This is the Over the Garden Wall deck, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that, but I'm gonna link all the decks below. This was supposedly the last printing,
But I doubt it.
this card, it's so freaky. It's like really freaky here. But I guess that's like kind of our thing of like, we're kind of just like, yeah, allowing ourselves to be. I want like one more card. Let's see. Okay, bitch. Like, you see this truth. Everything here is reversed, but like, you see it. This is the sun. And it's not necessarily about like happiest joy times, but like it is about, because what does the sun do? It sheds light. It like sterilizes. It just like bones get bleached in the sun. It's powerful and unrelenting, and we can burn ourselves from standing in it. So like, take a look around so that you don't have to keep looking so hard and getting burned by the sun. Like, it's shedding the light and you can see. So like, do it. Show up for yourself. Show up for yourself in the way that you really want to, because you see how you want to show up. Everything here is reversed, but like, boom, just like take a look around. You know what I mean? I'm gonna pull a self-love card for you to send you on your way. But like, oh my gosh, you are freaky maybe, and you're allowed to be, or maybe you're quiet and you're allowed to be. Like, this is kind of, it's a similar vibe to pile one. Dang. It's Gemini season, so, you know, maybe accept your
Duality?
I don't know. Maybe that's what it's about. Inviting those demons in. Okay. Okay, we've got change your environment coming up. I don't mean, you know, I think it's a very privileged thing to like take a retreat. Like, we're not talking about that. That's not available to everybody. But sometimes like rearranging the furniture, you know, if that's available, that can do something. Here it says, our environments support or undermine us. Give more attention to where you live, work, and play. Create surroundings that support you. And it's, again, it's this like Empress energy of like creating, you know, creation. And maybe like, do you want art on your walls? Do it yourself. Make the art you want to see in the world and put it up. And how does that kind of change how you interact with your space? And maybe it gives you more space to interact with it and interact with it in the way you want to, you know? And then the back of the deck is learn. Expand your knowledge to expand your world. Seek out teachers of wisdom. Constantly seeking new knowledge creates broader perspectives. Gemini season. It's like reading, learning, integrating, and again, accepting that duality. You know what I mean, jelly beans? That's where I'm gonna leave you, sweet honey bear. I feel you feeling yourself, feeling like you. And maybe it's the first time in a long time you've felt like you. Certainly as things start opening up again, it's almost like rebirth energy, you know? We inherently perform ourselves. But what have you learned in this past year about who you were showing up as versus like maybe now that has changed and you want to show up in like different ways, and it can be really subtle, but it's certainly exciting, I think. Okay, that's where I'm gonna leave you. If this resonated, please give it a like. That's very helpful from what I hear. And you know, comment down below with a promise to yourself. I promise I'm going to make some art this weekend and hang it up. I promise that I'm going to go to this party this weekend, and I'm not going to criticize myself during and after about whatever X, Y, and Z. And you know, if you feel called to it, subscribe. That would be appreciated. But mostly, I hope this was of service to you, and thank you for allowing me to read for you. I hope you are nourished and joyous after this reading. Okay, I love you. Hey, Pile 3, welcome to your reading. So, the anchor card for you is the moon reversed. Oh, and if you're here, it's because you chose the sunstone, which I think is interesting. Such a duality and a juxtaposition. So, here we go. The moon reversed, it's like maybe you're starting to walk towards, like it's getting close to dawn now, and you're walking your way out of the moon. And some of you, it's like maybe there's something like, it can sort of sometimes deal with like hidden knowledge, like there's something you do know and you're like hiding from it a little bit. But the thing about the moon that I think is, you know, there's these two dogs here. It's traditionally two wolves. I've got it pictured here. I think it's further up out of frame. There's the proverb of the two wolves inside of you, and which one will you feed? But I think this caveat for this card is that like the wolf in you that might be like freaking out also deserves to be acknowledged and fed and tended to and cared for. And I'm sort of already feeling like a bit of a heavy energy. So maybe this is, you know, and it's a general reading. Maybe that doesn't quite resonate for you yet. Ooh. There's one that already popped out, and we'll get to that. Here we go. That feels saucy. That feels right. I'm hearing like you don't quite know which way is up. There's maybe a lot that's happened. I don't usually pull this many cards in my readings, but okay. Okay, so pile 3. I think you're really in it. I think you're really in the moon. Sometimes what can happen in the moon is like we really start to freak ourselves out. We're considering a lot of possibilities. And again, gem season, we're looking at like injustice is here, like literally. We're like, and I think you're confusing yourself a little bit. Hope that makes sense. Feeling like a heaviness and a tiredness a little bit. I feel really pulled to this Page of Pentacles, because I think the energy of the Page of Pentacles can really help you out in this situation. This cute little pumpkin. The Page of Pentacles. So, caveat, Pentacles are not about money, okay? Pentacles are not about money. Money is an invention. Money wasn't quite what it is when the tarot was born. It's not about money. It's not about money. I'll say it so many times.
It's not about money.
So, I think pages often tend to be dismissed. We're like, ugh, like naive. We think of them as naive. And I think that's so dismissive to that energy, because we don't want to look like we don't know. And in the moon, we kind of don't know. And we're also like, is the sun gonna come up? I don't know. The sun always comes up. You will find your way out of the moon. I promise you. It's maybe like a dark night of the soul right now. But there's maybe a little ways to go here, but I don't want that to discourage you. You're allowed to stand in the I don't know. You really are. An outside perspective of like, you mean you don't know? That's about them. That's about them. And they're projecting it onto you. And here at the page, we're asking, like, we're doing an honest inventory with ourselves. At the Page of Pentacles, we're like, what do I want to do on this earth while I'm here? What would I like to do? What am I here for? What work do I want to bring in and serve to my community? And we're at the beginning stages of that, and it's allowed to be like small and precious. Maybe the pages are just precious, you know? Precious little like, oh, what is it? What do I want? What do I want to be? How do I want to show up? You know, it's right after the tens of things, and at the tens, I think we're like taking that inventory, right? And then at the pages, we kind of like, consider for a second. It's like the pages go in, you know, at the 10, we're like, pages go in to be like, oh, knights go out and bring it out to the world, and then we keep building that. And at the queens, we go back in, and at the kings, we go back out. So it's this like in, out energy. It's not necessarily about masculine and feminine. So what do you want to do, baby cakes? What work do you want to do? And I don't, you know, our work is not necessarily like what we do to get money, right? Money's a thing that gets us other things, but our bodies and ourselves are not. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's about bringing our work down into this meat suit, this material world, taking it out. You're kind of on your way in this journey already. I see you doing it, and you're like, okay, like some shit's gone down, but like life goes on. Life goes on. And life goes on. Life goes on. You will find your way. And you know, I do kind of see like the impatience with this like slow, like, okay, like, ugh, like all of this energy. Like, I'm tired of being in this dark night of the soul. Like, can I please just? Because like the Two of Wands here, it's like we want to go. It's like, I want to go. I want to be done with this. And it's like not quite, there may be, the timing just isn't quite there yet. But what you can do in the meantime, here's a queen. Like I just said, it's the going in. And at the Queen of Cups, this cup is for her. You don't get to see what's in it. What do you have for you that's just for you? What treasures are in there that are just for you? You know, it's like the work might be internal, and then we take it out. Like the work you want to do gets to be for you for a second. Like, okay, what do I want to do? And just like kindle that, get some kindling for that fire. You know, there's only 2 twigs here. There's only 2 twigs at the Two of Wands. You're gonna need to collect a little more kindling. Because like this Emperor is also here, and they're kind of in a position of like looking at the rest of this. And the Emperor is like this expansive sort of like, the Emperor isn't worried about standing in power. So like, what is it that makes you feel like you're allowed to stand in your power? Are you waiting for a permission slip to allow you to stand in your power? Because guess what? You can give that permission slip to yourself. This energy of kind of going in, like it's an internal journey right now, because here's the Four of Pentacles. It's not about hoarding. It's about who has access to you. Who has access to you? Do you want them to? Do you want that for yourself, maybe? Like, I'm sorry, I'm actually not available for that right now. In our work, sometimes, like, it can be very demanding, and like, baby, you're allowed to make boundaries. You're allowed to make boundaries. And like, this queen knows that, because it's a growing movement, I think, in our society that is going to help us progress, of like the self-love, giving yourself space, giving yourself time. And it's available in different ways to different people, right? It's not about the, like, you know, long getaway. We are doing this so that we don't want to get away from ourselves in our life and leave. We are tending to ourselves consistently so that we can stay, so that we can stay. We can stay in it. We can stay and stand our ground. And it is sort of like, it's these like sturdy four pillars of both of these cards, I think, of like, hey, I've got today and I've got tomorrow. It's all, guess what was right behind the Four of Pentacles? The Hierophant. At the time of this recording, it's a Hierophant year. And the Emperor gets used to standing and being, so that like when an audience gathers, we're like ready for that. And we can have an audience not quite when we're aware of it, right? Like, I'm thinking of like childcare, kids watch what we do and they learn from it. And, showing up for ourselves, like, can allow others to, the last pile was about like, not dimming your light. And this feels kind of like that as well. It feels like making boundaries and standing by them. And maybe this is also boundaries with yourself. It's a concept that I know that I was like, what do you mean boundaries with myself? But, go to bed when you want to go to bed, if that's available. I know we have children, some of us have children, and like, there's so much care that has to be happening for these beings. And so then what do you need? Oh, underneath the Hierophant is another four. And again, there's some other air elements here, and it's like that represents the mind, and it is Gemini season. So like, maybe you're not available to others, and maybe you're not available for that intrusive thought. Repose, rest. Hey, thank you so much for bringing that to my attention, but I actually am not available for that. Gosh, okay, it's delivering from the bottom of the deck now. This is like, can you tune in to like spirit, God, the universe, nature, natural order, whatever you want to call it, and get with yourself, be with yourself. Like, this is trying to get through. Okay, so Queen of Swords is here. She gets a bad rap for being a bitch, and I wonder who decided to start perpetuating that. You know what I mean? But I always see the Queen of Swords, like these clouds here, it's the fog, it's like, ugh, but they're not engulfing her, and she's sitting above them, and she can see, and she's like cutting through the bullshit, and she's like, okay, I've got me, what's here? What's here? There's so much energy here to go internal. And again, it's like okay, well, she's making her boundaries to go inside, and like, is that what a bitch is? You know, I can imagine that it's hard, right, when we want to make boundaries, because people can get upset, and it's maybe because they were benefiting from us not having boundaries. And maybe you identify with as the person that's always like, I'm here, I can help. And it's maybe this dark night of the soul is like, oh wait, okay, if I don't have to do that, if I don't have to focus on other people's problems and showing up for them, oh, that means I have to focus on me? Oh, that sweet boundary with yourself. Get with yourself. Get with yourself. Why do you want to be here, baby cakes? There's a lot of cards here, and I feel spirit being like, I said what I said. This final card that I'm pulling, it's Two of Swords. You know what's up. You know what's up. You're starting to see, you're starting to make out the shapes of things around you in the darkness, because the light of the moon, our eyes adjust to the light of the moon, right? And we can start to make out shapes, and we start making our way. And we're not like ignoring that howling dog inside of us anymore, right? I think the howling dog in you is like crying out for like, please, please show up for us, please. Show up in here, please. Okay, I'm gonna pull a self-love oracle card to send you on your way. This one kind of wanted to jump out. Learn, Gemini season. Are you are you fucking kidding me? You can't make this up. The bottom of the deck is set boundaries. Again, it's the bottom of the deck. How many ways can we say it? Set your boundaries with yourself and with others. Set your boundaries. And learn. It's Gemini season. It's about reading new ideas. Wow, expanding, getting it's the third sign in the zodiacal wheel. And so, or zodiac wheel, I don't know. Expand your knowledge to expand your world. Seek out teachers of wisdom. Constantly seeking new knowledge creates broader perspectives. So maybe that's a message for some of you out there. But the thing Gemini season, the buzzing of bees, pollinating, sharing, creating, growing, getting everything ready for like summer. It's like, it's that energy to go into summer. So like, this doesn't necessarily have to be the heavy energy that brought us into this reading. It can be fun. It can be fun. What's fun about it? There's maybe something new to learn about yourself in this repose. And I like have a feeling like it's exciting. Maybe. I kind of want to pull one more self-love oracle for you, sweet baby. Okay. Gratitude. Interesting. Speaking the gratitude out loud. Queer Cosmos was talking about this. That's an Instagram handle. That person's name is Queer Cosmos on Instagram, at Queer Cosmos. Talked about this in one of his videos. Gratitude. And this is number 33. That might be significant to you. Oh, and set boundaries was 13, and learn was 24. So everyone is a co-creator in this shared experience we call life. Gratitude for all things good and bad helps us to overcome our resistance to challenges and spurs our growth. Again, that's Gemini season duality, right? Find the moments throughout your day and speak it aloud when you feel grateful. I'm so grateful that I cleaned my room. It feels so good in here. I'm so grateful that I showed up for myself in that way. I'm so grateful that I thought about buying the ingredients for dinner tonight on my way home, and I thought about what I wanted to eat and I gave it to myself. I'm so grateful it's a sunny day and I love the way the clouds look today. I'm so grateful for that. Doesn't that feel good? That's the part of this that can be fun and exciting. Maybe that's the part of you that like wants to come through. I don't know. You know though. You know a lot. You know a lot. It's trying to get to you. Go in there and find it. But that is where I leave you. If this resonated, please give it a like. I hear that's helpful. And maybe like comment down below something you're grateful for. And you know, if you
Wanna be in the loop?
for other videos,
Give it a subscribe. Subscribe.
I would appreciate it so much. And thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing me to read for you. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day or night whenever you watch this. Goodbye.